Hi, good evening, everyone. My compliments to the students here. I've been told it is their first TED Talk, and trust me, this is my first TED Talk also, so we both are equally nervous. The first time is always a very, very different experience. Now, is the PowerPoint loaded? Being a professional television anchor, I ask questions for a living. Actually, मैं सवाल पूछता हूँ अपनी पेट के लिए. For last 20 years, I've been asking questions, and the answers I get to my questions are sometimes opinions, sometimes views, sometimes statements, and sometimes just a comment. But sometimes I also get to hear extraordinary, inspiring stories. Stories of what has made a dreamer an achiever, how an achiever has managed to reach the pinnacle of success, what has differentiated ordinary from extraordinary, and what has made unknown unforgettable. So today what I want to share with you is perhaps what I've learned in my 10,000 hours of TV. And allow me to start with my small story. Now I come from a small town, just underline that, small town. I have no formal training in media. It's a pause moment, no formal training in media. I am not afraid of making mistakes, and I reflect a lot. Now, the moment we look at these two pictures, they bring joy to us. India won World Cup for the first time in 1983. India lifted World Cup again in 2011. But there is a big difference here. It is not the year. It is not the team captain. It is not the color of the jersey. It is not the logo of the sponsor. It is the composition of the team squad. In the 1983 World Cup, 9 squad members were from just 2 cities, Mumbai and Delhi. In the 2011 World Cup, 9 squad members were from the small town. And this entire emergence of small town is just not restricted to the field of sports. I'm just going to take my liberty of moving forward here. Okay, there you go. Dhirubhai Ambani, the most famous example of a small town achiever, followed by Captain Nair, Ramdev Agrawal, Madhu Kela, maverick investors. In the field of medicine, you've got Mr. Shetty, and India's new age technology billionaire, the founder of Paytm. All of them have very humble beginnings, and the humble beginnings take them back to small town. Now, small town today has become the fountainhead of decision making. They become the powerhouse, they become the nursery of innovation and disruption. This is where, I guess, all the disruption and all the innovators are coming through. Now, there are 833 million Indians who live in tier 2 and small towns. And I guess for me, that is a mega trend in making, because I see hunger in them. When I interact with them, I see fire in their belly. And the way India has managed to grow versus how India will grow in next to 15 years will radically change, because the contribution from small town, I think, is going to increase. So the course of a nation is going to drastically increase and change, largely because of contribution which will come from small town. So another important aspect, what I've learned in my last 10,000 hours of TV, is that in order to be successful, you don't need extraordinary IQ, you don't need good looks, you don't need extraordinary talent, you don't need any extraordinary social standing or a lot of physical strength. All you need is simple application and sometimes common sense. Now, the 3 classic examples here are, you got the founder of Airbnb. He's a tech founder. Airbnb today is valued more than Marriott Hotel in terms of market valuations, but the founder has a fine art background. Jack Ma, guess what? He was an English teacher in a Chinese university before he actually founded the biggest Chinese internet company in the world. And then you got Radhakishan Damani. He is the owner of D-Mart, which is India's most successful chain of retail stores. He's a shy and introvert, but again, in terms of linkage, he's got very little linkage with the retail business. He's an investor, and he's a stock market trader. Now, what is a common theme which I've seen in some of these so-called crowd breakers? And the common theme is that they are very curious, very curious. They always ask questions. They can find very easy problems, and they can find very simple solutions. But above all, they are always very ready to serve find your solution, and then the minute you're ready to serve. Now, since we have a very young audience here, I also want to share a unique experience which I've learned in last, again, 10,000 hours of my TV, which is that you should never underestimate the importance of experience and age. But age, I guess, is just not a number. Look at some examples. Purna, youngest girl in the world to reach the summit of Mount Everest. I move on to Mark Zuckerberg. We all know him. 28 years. Yeah, you get jealous when you have a 28-year-old billionaire on this planet. Moving on, another example. She got a Nobel Prize only when she was 17 years. We all know the name. Some of us have also read her books. A classic example that makes me very proud is in the field of politics. White hairs and fat tummies do not matter the most. We've got Justin Bieber, and I guess everyone knows the example of Justin Bieber. So what this means for India? Now, India has one of the highest youth population in the world. And imagine if small towns, which is a humming engine now, and the reset in age in terms of achiever, if they both come together, we could be changing the dynamics of the way India has managed to grow versus how India will grow. So it's a matter of weeks, months, and years, but I'm reasonably confident that the future leaders, the future innovators, the future influencers would be young, and some of them actually would be originating from small town. But what is that one golden thread? What is that one golden thread which in my book has connected some of the extraordinary achievers on this planet? And since I have had an extraordinary pleasure of talking, interacting, and speaking to them, let me open it up. And that is, I want you to focus on the upper part of the presentation, grit and perseverance. They have the perseverance to chase their long-term goals. They have the stamina to keep on going day in and day out. They don't accept failure as a permanent condition. They get up, they live their dreams, and they chase their dreams. That is one aspect which differentiates an extraordinary person from an ordinary person. That is what which will make you from unknown to unforgettable as you will climb high in your life. And just to give you an example of what we are doing at ET now, well, we are a small team. We are a small team of only 180 members, that's it. India's biggest news channel is run by only 180 people. The average age of my newsroom is 29 years. 29 years, 30 minus 1, 29 years. We are small, but yet we are powerful. The kind of impact which we are having in the society, the kind of impact which we are having in terms of reaching out the right message to the right audience, I think is very, very powerful. We are innovating, we change on a daily basis, but we are not afraid of making mistakes. So the sum and summary of what I've learned in the last 10,000 hours of TV I've done is that chase your dreams, don't be afraid, you will keep on making mistakes, and those who are afraid of making mistakes, I'm afraid to say that means they have not tried anything new. So I wish you all the best, all the success, and remember what has happened in the past will happen in the future, but small town, young, I guess these are two reset bars which have happened in India, and I'm very confident of what has happened in the past will happen in the future, but in coming days, coming months, and coming weeks, we would be staring at a very different India. Thank you very much.